Hi, Majula. Hello there. Good afternoon. I hope you're well. Happy Sunday, Tracy. Hello there. Hello, Sue. Good afternoon. How are you, Trace? Hi, Sue. How are you? Good afternoon, Wendy. I'm very well, Wendy. Are you? Hello from snowy Pennsylvania. Hello, Fiona. There are some snowy pictures out there. Bonjour, Marie. Bonjour. Hi, Sarah. Hello there. Hello, Hayley. I'm very warm, but I haven't been outside. My son went outside and he says it's freezing. Hello, Bev. Good afternoon, Susan. Hello there. Good afternoon, Harriet. Hi, Lynn. Yeah, so apparently it's really cold out, but I haven't stepped foot out today. I did yesterday though. It was quite nice. Hello, Annette. Hello there. Hello, Sue. Good afternoon, Karen. Hello there. How are your little people? Hello, Chris. I'm very well. Are you, Chris? I was laughing. I was tickled seeing your photograph of your little was it your grandson eating the chocolate cake? So cute. Hello, Teresa. How has it got to Sunday evening already? I know, Teresa. Where's the time going? I just can't believe it. Hello, Jane. Hi, Gina from Oregon. Bring on the fabulous art. Hello, Patricia. Hello there. Hi, Margaret. Good afternoon, Elizabeth. Yes, it's very cold. Hello, James. Brilliant. Thanks very much, James. Good afternoon, Kim. It's freezing here. I had baked beans for lunch. Baked beans. After my live, I've got a Sunday dinner prepped by my husband. Yummy. Hello, Carol. Hi, Penny. Hello, Jackie. Good afternoon, Madeline. It's lovely to see you all. Since I'm usually working during your lives. Yes, you're working hard, Karen. Hello, Monica. Good afternoon, Monica. Hi, Catherine. As Crystal's just been evicted. Oh, poor Crystal has been evicted off Catherine's knee. You've got time to gather a few bits, Catherine. Having a break from fussy cutting fish and poppy. Bless Beverly. Fish and poppies. Hello, Gaynor. Good afternoon there. Hello, Mario. Hi, Maggie. How are you? Hope everybody's well. Hi, Sue. Hello, Francoise. Hello there. So I hope everybody's well. Hello, Flower. Hi, June. How's B? How's B? Yes, I haven't been out for that long now. I'm definitely a hermit now. I just haven't been out for so long. It's ridiculous. Very citrus. I've got quite a few colours out here, actually. There's a red one as well. I've got a red, but there's not enough room on my desk. Hello, Leslie. Hey up, Jane. June says. Hello, Jane. Good afternoon. We're all very well. My 5 little daycare people are awesome. Managed so well as we're all in lockdown. Oh, bless them, Karen. I love all the artwork you share of the little people. It's so lovely. Hello, Yvonne. Yes, it's a bit chilly, isn't it? Not much gardening happening here when it's this cold. Although I did do a bit yesterday, but there's not much happening today, gardening-wise. I have got so much work to do in the garden. It's ridiculous. Hello, Danielle. Hello there. Hello, Yvonne. Hello, Jane. Hello, Brian. You're not late at all, Brian. As per normal, I've done nothing. But there's no surprise there, is there? Afternoon, Lorraine. We're all very well so far, touch wood. Touch wood. Hello, Terry. I'm very well, thank you. Are you? Love to the family. I hope the family's well, Terry. Hi, Pauline. A moment, but I'm sure as soon as she hears your dulcet tones, she'll be here. She normally appears when she hears my dulcet tones, June. It is, isn't it, Leslie? I must admit. Busy hands make happy faces. They do, Karen. Hello, Ali. Good afternoon, Linda. had my lasagna, had my lasagna, my nap, and ready to watch. I've not had a nap, I know that much. Hello, Tony. Sending hugs, Tony. Hello, Lynn. Oh, thank you for sharing, Lynn. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a nice, simple card today, mainly because that's all my little brain can cope with at the moment. My poor little brain. I'm in garden mode at the moment, so my brain is on simple. It's going for simple. Yes, we're very well, Terry. I'm glad the family's well, and I hope your daughter's well. Your daughters, not daughter, daughters. Good afternoon, Sarah John. Hello, Vanessa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a simple card. Hello, Shelley. And my card is actually 4.5 inches in width by 6.5 inches in length. Hello there, Natalie. Hello there. I'm very well. Are you? Hello, Carol. My brain's a very small brain, Karen. So it's simple today. I haven't got, it's not doing very well at the moment, this poor little pea brain. So we've got a piece of card, 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches, and it's smooth white coated card. Simple is just fine. Exactly, Julie, exactly. That's my excuse. Hello, Anne. Hey up, Serena. Good afternoon, Bev. Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm working on smooth white card, so you can use your pink frog or smooth watercolour card, absolutely fine. As long as it's a smooth card, that works beautifully. Good afternoon, Caroline. So what I'm doing is I'm working with my Distress Oxides. Now, if you don't have the Distress Oxides, you can do exactly the same with Distress Inks. So that's absolutely fine. I'm okay. I had the COVID jab yesterday. Oh, Natalie, perhaps it's just the first couple of days. Some people do say they feel a little bit under the weather afterwards. So touch wood, it's just the first couple of days, Natalie. Hello, Sylviane. Hello there. Bonjour. So I've got my Distress Oxides, and you can use any colours. It doesn't matter what colours you use, your favourite colours, that's absolutely fine. Hello, Suzanne. Hello there. Welcome, Suzanne. I hope you're well. So you can use any colours you wish. If you just want to stick to 2 colours, you can stick to 2 colours, or you can use the colours of the rainbow. What you have to be aware is that if you're using the Distress Inks, because they're translucent, just make sure you don't create mud. Because I'm using the Oxides, they're a pigment diffusion, so I'm less likely to make mud. You've missed nothing, Jane. Just me talking about what card I've used and what inks I'm using. So if you've got the inks and you don't want to use the Oxides today, use the inks. So no problem at all. Oh, good luck with the injection, Lynn. Just thought you all might like to know, had my COVID jab on Friday, felt off yesterday, but do you feel okay today, Pauline? A few people have said they feel better after a couple of days. I've not had mine. So, but some people have said they feel better after a couple of days. Now, what I've done is I've used a Scotch low-tack, a Scotch removable tape, and I've just masked off my outside edges. Hello, Claire. Hello there. Hello, Christine. So I've masked off my outside edges of the white card with removable Scotch tape. And it just means that I've got this open area here. You just felt off for 3 days, did you, Marjorie? But do you feel okay now? I'm dreading having mine. I just hope I don't feel off. My father-in-law had the jab and had no side effects at all, so it was brilliant, and he's 86. I'm watching you on my TV and messaging on my phone. You're multitasking, Maureen. You are good. You are good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a few colours. And all you need to do, I'm not even on the list for the jab. Neither am I, Serena. I'm not on any list. Hello, Karen. So what I'm doing is I'm just using a piece of kitchen roll just so that I don't put my fingerprints on the background. Apart from a sore arm. That's brilliant, Janet. Not had a good reaction to the vaccine I had yesterday, so we'll catch up later. No problem, Janet. You look after yourself and take care. My husband has his first jab the other week and had no side effects. It varies, doesn't it? It does vary depending. I had my normal flu jab and now have a chest infection. Oh, that's not good, Tony. I am dreading it a little bit, I must admit. So what I'm doing is I'm using a piece of kitchen roll and for 3 days, but I'm fine now. Oh, that's good, Jackie. So what I'm going to do, so just sending hugs to Janet. So I'm just going to use a piece of kitchen roll just to stop the moisture from my hands. And what I'm going to do is, you just don't want to think about this too much. You're always on our list. We will treat you. The second one is when you feel ick. Oh, lovely, Colleen, lovely. Oh, I'm dreading it. Hello, Kay. Hello there. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with the lightest colour first. Made it and just got back from my dad's. Hello, Linda. Hello there. So I'm using Oxide. You can use the inks if you want. And the idea is to not think about it too much. So I've masked off the outside edges and I'm just applying the colour randomly into the central area of my card. And I'm not thinking about it too much. Just add light touches of the colour. Does it depend which vaccine you have? That's interesting. So now, I've started with squeezed lemonade and now I'm going to start with spiced marmalade. Hello, Karen. Hello, Linda. Hello there. So I'm starting with spiced marmalade and then I've started with squeezed lemonade and then I'm going on to spiced marmalade. The only thing that I need to make sure that I do is to make sure that my cut and dry foam or my ink blending tool is layered with a good layer of ink. If I don't do that, it then drags on the card and I don't really want the ink to be dragging on the card. Now, you don't really know which ink is going to be visible, but that's half the fun. You don't really know what ink is going to be visible on the technique. So I'm now going to go with Twisted Citron and I'm just using a touch of the Twisted Citron, and you can just add touches of the colour. You don't want to think about it too much. I'm then going to go to Evergreen Bow and just applying the colours randomly. Given her condition, she couldn't tell me anyway, but you've not noticed anything. Well, I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, I have no side effects. I'm now adding Evergreen Bow. And as you can see, I'm just going randomly over my card. I'm not thinking about where the colours are going, what I'm adding. I'm not thinking about it too much at all. So the less you think about it, the better. So now I'm just going to add picked raspberry. So just add some picked raspberry. And don't think about how you're adding the layers. It doesn't really matter, just as long as you get lots of different colours on there, because you don't know where your stencil is going to hit. Hello there, Gina. So the idea with this is you can use lots of different colours or you can use 1 or 2 colours. It's entirely up to you. So I'm now going to Candied Apple. So just going to add a touch of red. So I'm not thinking about it too much. I'm just adding touches here and there, going over some colours as well. So literally I've added the colours of the rainbow. Wilted Violet. You don't quite know which colour is going to show up in your stenciled areas. So it's very difficult to judge. Hello, Bernette. Hello there. And what I'm going to do, just to lighten everything, I'm going to add a touch more yellow. I find random difficult. What I do, Brian, is I find random difficult the minute I start thinking about it. If I don't think about it and I just add the colours, as in I don't think about anything, especially if I'm using opaque. If I'm using opaque, I don't have to think about it too much because opaque will layer. If you use translucent, you do have to think about it, but I don't have to think about this too much. As you can see, that's the colours of the rainbow. It's not like I've gone, oh, red is with orange, yellow is with this. I've just gone quite randomly. And what you can do at this stage is you can decide if there's anything you want to add a bit more of. It won't make one jot of difference to the final project, because it's so random, because it all depends where the stencil lands. So it won't make any difference because it's going to be so random. It depends where your stencil lands. So you really don't need to think about it. So I'm just going to lift this just so it's not stuck to the desk, because it's just stuck to the desk at the moment. So I'm just going to lift it just so that I can manoeuvre it when I need to. So just lifting that low, I'm leaving it in place. I'm just lifting it off my non-stick craft sheet, just so that I can grab hold of it. So lots of colours, and because it's opaque, I don't have to think about it. Right, the only thing I need to remember now is that I need to use my anti-static bag. So I'm just going to apply my anti-static bag all over the background, like so, all over, just to make sure you've got a good layer over your background. And it's important that you do that, because then I make sure that the embossing powder only sticks where I need it to. So that's the important thing. I like doing Facebook Lives because you can do a simple project or you can do a more complicated project, but it's just about spending the time together. That's what I like best about the lives. It's just nice to spend time together and reconnect. It's nice to reconnect with each other. And I think that's what Facebook Lives are about, just reconnecting with everybody. So as you can see, that would make a nice background in its own right with doing nothing else to it. Hello, Shays Staniforth. Hello there. So in its own right, that would be a lovely background, and it's taken no thought whatsoever. So if you like a simple background and you just want to put a black image as your focal image, that would look quite good. Hello there, Joanna. Exactly, it's nice just to have a natter, isn't it, Annette, with like-minded people. And Leslie's cooking dinner, which makes me feel hungry. Oh, Leslie, lovely, lovely. Leslie will be cringing because I've put pink and orange together. But if you wanted to just put a black, bold image on that, then that would work just as a simple card. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Just enjoy what you're doing. And if I compare myself to somebody else, you instantly have doubts about yourself. So don't compare yourself to anybody else. We should just boost each other. We should build each other up and not knock each other down. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Don't worry about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to take, I've just stopped for tea and a Kit Kat. Oh, Chris. Oh, I could just eat a Kit Kat. And mind you, you know I'm a chocolate fiend. Exactly, Natalie. They're cheerful, aren't they? It's just, they're cheerful. It's nothing complicated and it's nice and cheerful. And there's nothing, you know, I'm not an expert in anything. I like to dabble and I just like to play. Exactly, Brian. So we should all build each other up and enjoy each other's company and enjoy each other's artwork. It doesn't matter what all the professionals are doing or what the ultra talented people are doing. As long as we're enjoying what we're doing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter one jot. So what I've got now is, this is nice and loose. Dark chocolate digestive here to keep me going. Oh, I love dark chocolate digestives. Ugh, I'm chocolate mad. So just as long as this is nice and loose, like I was this morning, still tried to reply to everyone. Kim, I've done that on so many lives, replied to somebody and there's nobody there. So don't worry, you're not on your own. So what I'm going to do now is take my square stencil. Just make sure this doesn't stick down too much. Take my square stencil and I'm just going to decide where I want these squares. No milk chocolate for me. Oh, you're so good, Jane. I'm not. So let's just move these ink pads out the way because it's just, I need to make it a tower of ink pads. Let me just move that out the way. And what I want to do, dark chocolate, I just need to move this stencil around and decide what areas of the stencil I want. And I quite like how it looks like this. So I'm going to add the stencil, as you can see. I've just had a Mary Berry's mincemeat loaf cake. Ugh. No right or wrong way up, Catherine. I just use them any old way that comes. So some people say there's a right and way, but guess what? Let's make it simple. No right or wrong way. So no, absolutely fine. Sometimes on some stencils, one side is slightly more raised than the other, but no right or wrong with this. So I'm just placing the stencil, as you can see, like this. That's what I'm going for. I like how you're all having chocolate cake. Oh, it's my twin daughter's birthday tomorrow. Oh, lovely. Oh, Ian's been building my MDF storage. Oh, we'll have to see that, Serena. And do their own thing and let's have fun. Exactly, Terry. Let everybody do their own thing and we just have fun. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the Versamark watermark ink pad, which is a nice sticky ink pad, just so that my embossing powder will stick. I love how you're all talking about the food that you're eating and I'm ravenous. And I'm just going to hold this stencil in place and then I'm just going to press the Versamark ink pad down onto the background. Now, because I've applied that anti-static bag, my embossing powder will only stick where I apply the sticky ink. It won't stick anywhere else, only through these square pieces. It's beer o'clock in this house. Oh, we have scones, jam and clotted cream for later. Been good all day. Oh, you're too good anyway, Catherine, you are. Hello, Tracy from Australia. Hello there. I have no idea how I found you, but it's great. Welcome, Tracy, welcome. So I'm just applying the Versamark ink. You just need to be a little bit patient and just make sure that you apply that Versamark ink all over the stencil area. If you prefer not to do it that way, you can use your cut and dry foam, pick up the Versamark ink and dab into the stenciled areas, whichever works best for you. Hello, Stephen. Hi, Steve. Lovely to see you. So just make sure that you've got plenty of that Versamark ink all over the stenciled areas, especially the very fine, smaller squares. So we've got that over there. And I'm just going to put my Versamark away and just grab a scrap of paper. We'll just take a clear embossing powder and just apply the clear embossing powder over the top. Just make sure you grab the embossing powder catches everywhere, and hopefully you can see that. Hope you're well, Steve. Hope you're well. So we've now got the embossing powder nice and clear. Hello, Aota. Hello there. I hope you're well, Flower. So I'm just going to plug my heat tool in. I never leave my heat tool plugged in. I always plug it in afterwards. So all I need to do is heat my heat tool up. Has been listening to my hobbies. It's 2 a.m. Brilliant. No problem at all, Tracy. I will put it on YouTube anyway, Tracy, and then you can come back to it. 2 a.m. Good grief. So I'm just heating the heat tool up. and then I'm just going to melt the embossing powder. You might not see the embossing powder melting on live TV. TV, what am I talking about? On a Facebook Live, I think I'm brainwashed. Live TV. So I'm just heating the embossing powder just to melt that so that it gives me a clear, glossy finish. And once it's heated, just move to the next area. Don't linger on the embossing powder. If you linger too much, it'll go flat and it won't be glossy, and you want it glossy. So just keep moving your heat tool around just to get that glossy sheen. Hello, Doreen. I hope you're well, Doreen. So I'm just moving it around just so that I can get each area of the embossing. Let me just get that bit more there. Just making sure I've got that. So hopefully I've missed a bit there. So hopefully you can see that I've got that clear embossing. Joys of living far away. That's what fresh air does to you, Tracy. Hello, Jill. Hello there. Hope you're well, Jill. Embrace the pink. When are you back on TV, Tracy? Well, I'm just waiting for the confirmation. It depends when the products arrive. There's a slight delay at the moment, so I'm waiting for the confirmation of the dates. So once I get the confirmation of the dates, you will be first to know, definitely. So just grabbing my cut and dry foam, and I'm just going to grab my black Oxide ink. So as you can see, it's nice and glossy in there. So if you wanted, you could keep it like that. If you didn't want to do anything else, you could keep it like that. But if you want to take it a step further, take your Distress Oxide black soot, just ink your cut and dry foam. Make sure it's ink. Oh, it's the new products, half of them have arrived and I'm waiting for the other half. So fingers crossed they come soon. But yes, I'm just waiting for confirmation. As soon as I can give you sneak peeks, I will give you sneak peeks. I need a cleaner Versamark pad. No, you don't, Teresa. You don't need to worry about a clean Versamark pad. Don't worry about it. Most of my Versamark ink pads are filthy. Just use it, it'll be fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over with the black soot Distress Oxide ink. Don't get your fingerprints on there. You don't want your fingerprints. So just hold a piece of kitchen roll and just apply a good layer of ink. It's lovely to see Iota, isn't it? So I'm just applying that ink. So just give it a good layer. Don't scrimp on the ink. Make sure that you really do blend that black. And then what you can do is take your kitchen roll, spritz it with water, spritz your kitchen. Hello, Sally, I've just remembered. Sorry, I didn't say hello, Sally. So just take a water spritzer and just wipe over like so with a spritz of water. So just wipe over and then go to a clean piece of kitchen roll. Spritz with water and go to a clean piece of kitchen roll. Always move to a clean piece of kitchen roll because you don't want to re-add the black ink. So just go over. Can you see that you still keep removing? So just take your time. I hope you're well, Sally. It's lovely to see you here. And then you just let that dry itself. Now, what you need to remember is you don't want to heat. Don't heat dry it. Don't heat dry it because you'll then remelt the embossing powder and it'll go flat. So you don't want to do that. Nice simple technique. If you don't have Distress Oxide Black, you want something that can just wipe off. What about the Distress Ink Black? You could try acrylic paint, do a small area at a time and wipe the paint off as you do a little bit. So you could do it with black paint, but as you do it, do a small area, wipe it off. Do a small area, wipe it off, because the acrylic paint will dry too quickly, whereas the inks react a little bit more. So what you do then is you can remove your low tack tape. Just remove the low tack tape. You know me, it has to be simple or I don't do it. So I'm just removing this. Just remove your tape. I always forget which tape I've added first and which one comes off last. And then it gives you a lovely background. Oh, I'm glad you'll give it a go, Lindsay. Brilliant. I haven't always got new ideas, but it's nice just to spend the time together. So I'm just going to wipe my hands. Should try this technique with Vaseline, our kid. It works in a similar way as the embossing powder. Yes, it does, because the Vaseline, you can do the paint effects with the Vaseline. If you use the Vaseline, you can do it with paint because it gives you a different effect. You get an aged effect with this, with the Vaseline. But I do like it with the inks because it gives me a very bright effect. And it just means it's very simple. Very simple. Just make sure that you've got clean hands at all stages. Just so that you keep everything nice and clean. Looks like a house in the evening. Actually, it would look good if you die cut something out of it, wouldn't it? Oh, thank you, Anne. I love mine. So therefore, we're now going to add some bits and pieces to this. So there's our background. And what I want to do now is grab a piece of card. As you can see, this is a very scrap piece of card. And what I'm going to do now is just randomly, let's move this along, just randomly add some of the colours that you've already got on your... The problem with the Vaseline is also you've got that greasy element with the Vaseline, whereas you don't get that with this effect. You don't get the greasy effect. But the Vaseline works with different techniques as well, with paint techniques. It never gets old, does it, Debbie? Exactly, it never gets old. And it just looks so effective, yet it's so simple. It's so simple. So what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing my ink blending tools that have got the ink already on them. So I'm not adding any more ink. I'm just taking what ink's on the ink blending tools and just using that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little bird from the wire birds and I'm going to stamp this onto here. So just going to apply my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink to my stamp. And even though this stamp is well primed, it's well used, it's well loved, I still apply a good layer of ink. I don't scrimp on that ink layer. And then I'm just going to stamp my bird just onto the inked area. Just like so. But sometimes I think the simplest techniques can sometimes look the most effective. You know, it doesn't always have to be too complicated. Oh, thank you. So I'm just going to allow that ink to sit on my card. Hello, Hope. Just got up. Lovely to see you, Hope. I'd get in a total mess with Vaseline. That's the only, you see, with Vaseline, there's lots of different paints effects you can do. You can do like a chipped wood effect. The only problem with Vaseline is you can get in a little bit of a mess because it streaks and it's greasy. So you just have to be aware of that. But there's always ways around doing different techniques every single time. So as you can see, now the bird has got lots of different colours in there. So it means that my bird will coordinate with my background if I've used those same colours on the bird. So what we've got here is, I've got the bird cut out. So the bird's cut out, and if you wanted to, say that you thought that an area hadn't got enough colour, what you can do is you can then take the bird and just add a little bit more touch of colour if you want. So if I wanted a touch of yellow, I can add the yellow. So it's entirely up to you how you change that bird. Hello, Rizwana. It doesn't matter that you're late. So I just love that. I love that. Now what I've got here is, you know that I love using scraps of card. I've used scraps of card forever and a day. Even 20 years ago, I was using little square bits of card, little strips of card. I've done that for years because I just love them. And what I've done is I've machine stitched these two strips of card together. So the strips of card are just random strips, and I've coloured one with orange and one with pink, just to reiterate those colours in the background. And all I've done is I've machine stitched through them. If you don't have a sewing machine, just add some cotton thread. It'll just give it another texture. And what I've done then is I've got a 2-inch square, it is approximately, which is cut from the stencil. You can just draw around the square stencil. So you can simply draw around the square and just cut that out. So thank you, Claire. So if you haven't got a punch or whatever, you can just cut it on your trimmer, or you can just draw around the stencil. I know football's on, Fiona, because it's always on in this house and it drives me mad. That's why I come away, because I just can't watch it any longer. No sewing machine here. It doesn't matter. You just wrap some cotton around. The thing is, Pat, when I did this 25 years ago, this technique, they never had any names. They didn't have names. They were just techniques that you did, and you did them, oh, many, many times over in workshops many years ago. And then up about 15 years ago, some things started having names because certain designers would take a technique and say that it was their technique. Let me just assure you that some of these techniques have been around thousands of years, and there's not many techniques that we can claim as being our own because they've been around for thousands of years. We can adapt the techniques and say that that is our own, but there's not many techniques that you can say weren't done thousands of years ago. But it's just a lot of people give them fancy names and then say, oh, it's my technique. No, don't believe everything that you hear. They're not. Some techniques have been around for decades, absolutely decades. It's just that we adapt them in different ways. So this wasn't called anything when I did this technique 25 and 30 years ago. It wasn't called anything. We just did it because the embossing resisted the ink. And whenever we did any embossing techniques years and years ago, we did embossing techniques. And because we knew that the embossing powder, when it was melted, resisted any ink or any paint, then that's what we did. But we never gave it a name. Exactly. It could be Joseph Coat of Many Colours. It could be anything you wanted. But all as it is that it's a fun technique. It's easy to use. And a lot of us designers just bring them to the forefront so that you can adapt the techniques and make them your own. So that's it, really. I'm a great believer in, I just say that I've done these techniques for many years. I can't say they're mine because some techniques have probably been around 1,000 years ago. So I never say it's mine. You know, I can say, yes, this is my technique that I did, but it's not necessarily mine. So it's been around many, many years. But one thing that I always do is use my scraps, and with different materials, exactly. So I do tend to use my scraps, and I'm going to add this scrap here. But what I want to do, will you upload this to YouTube later? Of course I will, Hope. Exactly, Shally. Some can be happy accidents. Exactly. Happy accidents. And as long as we inspire each other and we build each other up, that's all that's important. As long as we don't knock each other down, that's what being creative is about. So what I'm thinking is I want this white square here, like so. Just to add it here, just so that my bird will pop against the background. So I'm just going to bring it down a little bit more, like so. And just add this here. And what I want is my bird will go here, like this. And it'll just pop against that white square. So I'll just give it a little bit of a black border like that, just so it pops a little bit more. And that's what I'm going for at the moment. But yes, I'll definitely upload it to YouTube. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to adhere the square. You know, a bit being like using coloured crayons, then crayoning black over the top and scraping up. Yes, Alison, yes, exactly. You could do it with wax crayons and then scrape it. That's been done as well. You see lots of people do that, where they do it with wax crayon and then do the old-fashioned scraper technique. So what you have to do is just enjoy anything that you see. And if somebody brings it to the forefront, then great. But the idea is that we just keep each other happy, and the fact that we enjoy our hobby. I think that's the most important thing, that we enjoy our hobby. So what I'm going to do now is just add a little bit of washi tape. Scratch boards, that's what I was trying to think of, Colleen, scratch boards. But yes, there's a few people that have done the technique where you add it with wax crayon, do lots of different colours, and then you can scratch the wax off like a wax scratch board. That was what I was thinking of, scratch board. And I was never able to get my words out very well. My words have always been a struggle. So I'm just going to add a little touch of washi tape, just to my white blank square piece. And what I'm doing is I'm just leaving a little bit of a border. Hello, Anne. Ages ago. Exactly, Karen, the wax crayons, I know. So I'm just adding little bits of washi tape. So just add that. For me, the lives are about connecting with you, just so that we spend some time together. I'm not precious over techniques, because the most important thing for me is to inspire you to use your products. There's no point being precious over techniques. So I'm just going to add a little bit of washi tape just to the background, just to give it another little bit of texture. But can you see that I'm not adding too much washi tape? I'm just using my cut, tear and layer washi tape, but I'm adding little tiny touches, just so that it's not overpowering. I think I did it in art class. I only did art, I don't think it was O-level, but when we did art, I think I did it in art class. Oh, thank you, Karen. Oh, thank you, Gina. So I'm just going to add these little touches of washi tape. It's not much, it's a very tiny touch of washi tape. Just want to show you how I'm layering up in a very subtle way, just so that it's not too much. And then I'm just going to add this little touch of card to the top. That's definitely going there. So we're now going to add that. And I love the cotton fibres. Replying to Brian. Where did I miss Brian? Oh, bless you, Brian. So I'm just going to add a strip of the card, just to break it up a little bit. And I just love the texture of the cotton. And I'm just going to make sure that that little bit of white is peering below, just so that you can see that pop of white. Just add that below. I just need to make sure that the adhesive sticks, because I've got those cotton fibres behind, and those cotton fibres will stop it from sticking in some areas because of the texture. So I'm just making sure that sticks. Thanks, Karen. So just remove that. I end up with so many products, so many ink pads, so many everything everywhere. What I'm going to do is just add a little bit of stamping to my bird. Just use my ephemera digit stamp. Just move this in so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to add a little touch of black stamping. We've got a lot of black. No problem, Leslie. We've got a lot of black in the background. I just need to make sure that touches of black are in the foreground, just so that it looks like everything coordinates. So I've just got those little numbers, just so that you can see on the bird, just so it all coordinates and it looks like I've thought about it. And what I'm going to do is just take those numbers again, and I'm just going to add a little touch of the numbers to my strip of card, so it looks like it's all been coordinated. Does yours have black fur, Catherine? Well, it wouldn't be yours if it didn't have black fur, though, would it? Because your cats are part of your artwork. So they just have to be that. So that's good. Now, what you can do at this stage is... Oh, did Facebook kick you out, Anne? That's very inconsiderate. What you can also do at this stage is you can spritz the background with water if you wish. If you spritz the background with water, it will then give you a bleached out effect. So it's entirely up to you whether you add the bleached out areas or not. So if you want to spritz and add another layer of interest, you can spritz it and it will just give you some of the bleached out areas. So that's entirely up to you. So I've got another background I can use later. And what I'm going to do is place my bird on here, just so I can see those little bits of text. I think what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of washi tape just on my strip of card, just so it coordinates nicely, just so that it's got a little pop of washi just on there, just so that it looks like it's all coordinated. I hope all goes well, Linda. So just add this here, and I'm going to adhere the bird. Just move him across a little bit. So just taking my PVA just to adhere the bird. And just take a few minutes just to decide where you're going to add the bird. So I'm just going to add that there. And I'm going to take my scrap of paper just to press that down, just to make sure it makes good adhesion. Hello, Can Sally. Hello there. So just adding, just so that it makes good adhesion. And what I'm going to do is just make sure that you remove that adhesive so that you've got no adhesive over the top. Just take your time. Because you've got those cotton threads, just because you've got those cotton threads, it doesn't make good adhesion. So, do we have... What you can also do is use your stencil, and you can cut out some of the little squares from the stencil from black card, or you can just ink with your Distress Oxide ink. So you can do that if you wish, and you can just add a little tiny square just in the background, just so that it coordinates with the rest, because you've got the square here and you've got the squares. And what I've got is I've got a little embellishment here. I don't want to overpower it too much. No problem, Sue, no problem at all. Take care. So I'm just going to add my embellishment here. So we'll just add a little square, just so that it echoes the squares in the background and brings that touch of black from the background. Now it's up to you if you want to add 3 squares, 2 squares or 1 square. It's entirely up to you. So I'm just going to add my embellishment. And on the embellishment it says Design Studio. This is just a Tim Holtz embellishment that I'm just adding just to give my card a little bit more oomph. And I'm just going to add these little... Oh, bless you, Laura, you're so kind. So I'm just going to add a blob of glue here because I need it to be finished off properly. So I'm just adding some screw heads just to the top, just so that it looks finished. She says I spend more time faffing with the screw heads than anything else. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some splatters of white paint. Now, I know some of you don't like to do splatters because you say it doesn't work. Don't add your splatters if they don't make you happy. Mine don't even want to come out, never mind make me happy. So it's entirely up to you if you add those splatters. Don't add them if you don't want to. And then if I just get a clean piece of scrap paper, just take a clean piece of scrap paper, and then I've got these little words from a vintage book. One says feather. I can't pick them up because they're made out of paper. One says wings and the other says bird. I can't pick them up because they're so flimsy. And one says bird, and it's just out of an old vintage book. And I do love adding little words here and there. So I'm just going to add these words. You don't want to overpower. I made a splatter box for that. Oh yes, I have actually got a splatter box, but it's called I Never Get It Out. So I'm terrible. So I'm just adding these little words, and I wanted words that weren't going to overpower the backgrounds. I didn't want the background to vanish behind too many layers. I just think it's important that that background also is quite prominent. I think it's also good if my words look straight. I've then got this little word bird. And you can either place that, yes, I'll place that here, like so. So just got those words on, and then I've got mat and layers that are all matted and layered by 1/4 of an inch going up in increments. I'll just have to wait for this to actually dry solid, but then I'm adding this to those black mats. Do the white Posca pen splatters stay white or take on the colour of the oxides? If the oxides are completely, if you've given them a dry with the heat tool, then they stay white. If the oxides are still very wet and you're using the wet on wet technique, then yes, it can take on the colours. So that becomes your card. I'll just lift that up just so that you can see the wording and the fact that I haven't overpowered the background, just so that you can see the background still sings. Now what I do to finish your card off is I would cut as a piece of card exactly the same size, and I would add a touch. Let me just get my white card, bear with me. Let me just get a piece of white card just to show you to finish it off. Just bear with me a second. Let me just cut this. So 4.5 by 6.5. I'm just cutting the card just so that you can see how we'd finish it off. To finish it off, the final size card, Beverly, so what I've done is, this was 4.5 by 6.5, and I've gone up 1/4 inches, and the actual white card blank is 5.5 by 7.5. Now what I'd do is I'd add a piece inside the inside of the card, just to finish it off nicely. And what I'd do, whoops, is I'd get your square stencil, and I'd get some of the small squares, just so you finish it off nicely, so the inside of your card looks like you've thought about it. I'd take the stencil, you're very welcome, Beverly, and I'd just take your ink blending tools that have already got the ink on there. Don't add any more ink, just use what ink you've got on the ink blending tools already. Don't add any more ink, just use what you've got, and just add a few little touches here and there of the ink, just so that it coordinates with the background. So I'm not adding anything, I'm just using whatever's on my ink, just so that you've got this, just so that you've got a little touch that is going to coordinate with the outside of the card. I'd then take a little piece of the washi, just add the washi tape just here at the base, because I think it's important that we finish it off properly. And then where's that? I bet I can't find that piece of card that we did the, oh I can. So we've then got this bird that we stamped earlier onto the card, because I'd cut one out earlier. Cut him out. Spend a couple of minutes cutting the bird out, because sometimes we can forget the inside of the card, and if you're sending it to somebody special, the inside of the card, it looks beautiful if you just add a little touch of what's on the front of the card. It works really well. I love coordinating the inside. I don't do it all the time, but I do it sometimes, especially, you know, if you want to send it to somebody special. I just think it's nice to coordinate the inside as well. And it just looks like you've really thought about them. I mean, any handmade gift is a pleasure to receive, especially when somebody's made it with love. Oh, thank you, Sue. Thank you. I love it when you all have a go. So I'm just going to then add my little bird. Don't forget to add the numbers. Just because it's the inside of the card doesn't mean that it doesn't need some of the same details. So I'm just going to add those little numbers to my bird. Take the bird, add that to the washi tape, just so he's standing on the square and on the washi tape. Just add a few little white splatters. Exactly, if you want to do it in your journal, do it in your journal. And then if we bring in the outside of the card and the inside of the card, you can see I can't add it to, oh, I can add it to the inside because I can lift that off. What am I like? So I can add this to the inside of the card. Actually, no, I'd put a black mat on the inside of the card, just so that it stands out, and then it'll look beautiful if you add a black mat. So add a black mat on the inside and add that on the top. The scissors that I'm using are Pergamano scissors. Pergamano scissors. I bought a shop-bought card once. I got into so much trouble, I've never done it again. Oh, bless. So I hope you've enjoyed that live. Oh yes, definitely adding a little bird inside as well, just so that it coordinates. But sometimes I haven't got anything new to show you, so I hope you don't mind some simple ideas as well. You know, it doesn't always have to be complicated. But I'm quite pleased with that, and I think they'll coordinate beautifully. And when I've given it a couple of hours to dry, I'll stick that all together and then I can show it on Facebook. So I hope you like that. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. You're very welcome. I hope you've all got a lovely week planned. I know we can't go anywhere. You're very welcome. It's lovely to see you too, Jane. Now, I love the simple ideas as well, Sally. I can't do anything too complicated anyway, to be fair, because I'm not a complicated person. That's me, Beverly. That's me. I'm too old for complicated. I can't do it. Very welcome, Jill. I like spending some time with you. And for me, the most important thing about doing Facebook Lives is spending time with like-minded people. So it's absolutely my pleasure. So I shall stick this on YouTube for you. And I'll see you all soon. I'll try and get another Facebook Live done as well in between gardening. And hopefully see you all soon. Thank you for your company. And have a lovely week. Bye, everybody. Bye. Thanks, Helen. Bye.